Everyone, today we have an exciting guest. Would you mind introducing yourself?
My name is Bob Bacharach. I'm a judge on the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals.
Can you explain what a clerkship is?
What you do is assist the judge in research and writing. And every chambers and every judge will use clerks in a different way. The way that I use law clerks is generally as really colleagues, really try to work as a team. They will do research, I will do research. They will write, I will write. They edit my work, I edit their work. And we all basically do the same thing. Obviously, I'll make the final determination of on what the ultimate decision is, what the opinion will say, including the writing of it. But I really try to take advantage of the insights, the excellent qualities that all of my law clerks have. And so I view the product out of my chambers as a collaborative product between myself and the other members that I refer to as my team, my law clerks, and my judicial assistant.
Awesome. If someone wanted to be a clerk, like what are the application requirements and like how is each one like evaluated?
There's a wonderful software system called Oscar that is, created by the Administrative Office of the U.S. Courts. And if someone wants to apply, generally speaking, their law school will be able to help them, show them Oscar. If not, they have a help desk available at Oscar to help anyone who wants assistance in operating that. And it's a wonderful system. They'll let you fill it out, you hit a button, and you can submit applications for up to 100 judges with the flip of a button. You don't have to mail applications. In fact, the judiciary strongly discourages mailing of hard copy applications. That's what you do. Now, it's a very competitive. There are more individuals that want to clerk than there are positions. The magistrate judge, all the bankruptcy judges, the magistrate judges, the district judges, the circuit judges, and of course the Supreme Court justices all have law clerks. Now, some will only have career law clerks. So, for example, when I was a magistrate judge, I had one what we call elbow law clerk position, and it was a career law clerk. And so I generally wouldn't have vacancies. Now I have 4 positions for 4 paid law clerks. One is a career law clerk, and then I have 3 vacancies each year. But that's what you do. Your grades are important. Participation in moot court and the journals is important because it's a very competitive process.
Is there anything students should avoid doing on applications or things that you like might see when you're going through applications that maybe students should watch out for?
The thing that comes immediately to mind, Bello, is to avoid typos. Every judge is just abhors typos, because it really is a sign of carelessness. We all do it. We're all fallible. We all make mistakes, but we all really try hard to avoid those kinds of mistakes that I think really cause the parties to lose confidence in the judge. If I'm a party and I see that Bob Bacharach has misspelled my name, that would really cause me, I think, to worry that the judge is just not being very careful on something like that. Well, why would the party think that I would be any more careful with the merits of his or her appeal? And so those things I think are become very important to the parties, and therefore they should be important to the judge. And so I would try to make sure that there's just no typos, in the written materials, in the written sample, writing sample, in the resume. And one of the things that's really difficult about applying for clerkships, you do want to put your best foot forward, but you don't want to come across as arrogant. And that's really a difficult balancing act. Sometimes on how do you do that. But I think generally the best advice is just do as well as you can. Obviously, make your credentials. You can't fudge on your credentials, so you just try to earn as good credentials as you can while in law school. And then your writing sample, you do have a lot of control over that in terms of trying to make it as good as you possibly can and work really hard on it and make sure the grammar is good, that there's not grammatical mistakes in it. And then, take advantage of, some of the great resources there are on legal writing where you can improve your legal writing. And you may be able to use that in your, for example, in your cover letter if you've done a lot of reading about legal writing. There's so many good legal writing books, and that can sort of boost your attractiveness to a judge because that's, as I said, that's what a judge does all day is they write and edit. And so if you show that you have really a zeal for that, a passion, a great interest in trying to improve your own legal writing, then I think most judges are going to be somewhat impressed by that.
Do you have any advice for someone that might be watching right now that is thinking about either applying to law school or applying for a clerkship?
In terms of applying to law school, I think it's a wonderful profession. One of the great things about being a lawyer is that there's just infinite opportunities to use a law degree. A lot of lawyers go into business, they may go into academia, they may never see a courtroom ever any time in their professional lives, but they use their law degree in very effective ways. I went a more conventional path after clerking, went to a private law firm, and as I said, became a magistrate judge, then a circuit judge. But there's just so many great opportunities in the law, and I think it's a wonderful profession. But it is not like what you see on TV. When I was growing up, there was Perry Mason, LA Law. I'm a big fan of Law and Order. And, the day-to-day practice of law is not like any of those things. And so I'm not sure when I went to law school that I had a terribly realistic perception of what it's like. So I think it is good to talk to real live lawyers. I didn't have any lawyers in my family. But, talk to people that have done it, that are doing it, and see what it's like. Go watch courtroom proceedings to see what it's really like. While in law school, a lot of law schools, not necessarily all, but many law schools will have a clerkship advisor or a whole department of clerkship advisors that are wonderful resources to ask them about first of all, generally about the pros and cons of clerking. The only con that I can think of is that a lot of times now, especially some of the bigger law firms, they pay so much money to new lawyers that you may feel like, well, if I went to this big law firm instead of clerking, I could make a whole lot more money. There are a lot of advantages to clerking. I think it's a really good experience. It was a great experience for me. But I would try to find out, again, through these resources within your individual law school, what that chambers is like. Every judge is different. Every judge has a different personality. Some are easy to work for, some are hard to work for, and they will assign work in different ways. And your clerkship advisors, generally speaking, will know that. Many of the law schools, they'll think it's really fairly routine, is to use the law clerks as valuable resources to tell them, the clerkship advisors, whether the experience has been positive or negative, and really detailed information about it so that they can share that with prospective applicants in the future. So I think your clerkship advisors are a really great resource. Many judges will encourage people to talk, prospective applicants to talk with any current or former law clerk. That's what I do. And so if anybody, for example, if someone's just contacts my secretary, they don't even have to contact me, and just say, can I have a list of the contact information for all of Judge Bacharach's current and former law clerks? She knows that she's welcome to send that. And all of the discussions are always confidential. So let's say you're deciding, or Joe Schmo is deciding whether to apply for a clerkship with me. Well, Joe Schmo can talk to any current or former law clerk, and I won't discuss that with any of my law clerks. And so, all of my law clerks may say, may think, Judge Bacharach shouldn't, even think about hiring Joe Schmo. Well, I won't know that. If I like Joe Schmo, I'm going to hire Joe Schmo. We shouldn't say it that way, but because I always have more people that I want to hire than I can. But you get the idea. The discussions are confidential. So I would try to get as much information as I can, before applying, for a judge, and really try to apply with the judges that you really genuinely would like to spend a year in their chambers.